Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game versus Yange versus Syde taking place here on Last Refuge. Over here on the bottom left hand side of the map we have, well, I believe this is Yange spawning as the red Night Elf, moving out, already getting Altar of Elders, Moonwell, and well, an Ancient of War perhaps off over here. Not too far away, we take a look at Syde, who is opening up as the Undead player. Ziggurat, Crypt, and Altar of Darkness also coming off as no surprise. Hopefully looking forward to this particular game. It was recommended to me, and well, on top of that, it's the only game I will be casting today. There's a lot going on, and well, trying to squeeze in 45 minutes to do something recreational, but that's something that I deeply enjoy. But my family does need me, so hopefully I'll still be able to make dinner and do all of those important family duties as well. Hello Lupin, hey yo, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in as we are looking at the Tomb of Relics now being placed down and now moving out for a scouting acolyte. Tavern in the center portion of the map, and I gotta mention this, the tavern, I can't imagine a time when Warcraft 3 didn't have the tavern now. It seems like even Reign of Chaos, you only had your, well, 3 heroes to try and go and do anything with. Now with the opening of the tavern, Night Elf players in general generally like the tavern more than some of the other races, just because tavern heroes are much more mana intensive, and Moonwells are a good answer to that. Undead, on the other hand, has a little bit harder of a time until they can get obsidian statues to try and replenish that mana, as we are now looking at an acolyte moving out across the field. Now, Ancient of War is absorbing all of this damage right here, and what you're trying to do is just trying to make sure that this Ancient of War, well, eating trees is a resource, but it's not really a resource you really have to be worried about. Let's take a look at this ensnare onto that acolyte, and unfortunately this acolyte will get taken down, giving that warden some bonus experience early on, and now lacking a bit of scouting. Moving across back to the north here, you can take a look. The Death Knight here of Syde does have a number of ghouls. He picked up a sacrificial skull now, purposely went back for it, and I don't know if he's perhaps trying to do a fast expansion. Death Knight fast expansion is really not that common, but then again, this is only a 5-3-3 creep camp, and normally you need to go for the Dreadlord fast expansion if this is a much larger creep camp, thereby making it much more difficult to clear out. You would normally sleep the primary unit, deal damage with the remaining units, but as you can take a look right here, well, there's not that big of an issue in terms of clearing out this creep camp, as the Death Knight and the ghouls are going to finish off the remaining 4 troll trappers. Skeletal Minion is going to finish this off over here, and it is going to be, well, Syde with an undead quick fast expansion. Wisp, however, is going to get a sniff of this, so to speak, as the Death Knight now makes its way back down to the south. Oh, is it going to scout out this one skeletal minion? Yes, it is. It's going to try and go after this here. Meanwhile, the Death Knight, well, purposely trying to stay away. Let's take a look. Death Coil gets the kill there, and that was a tactical Death Coil to make sure that the, well, warden doesn't know what's really going on. By this, he is going to be forced to do some actual physical scouting to head off to the north, and by scouting out this location, let's take a look. Replenishment potion will still be used. Death Knight is nearby. Acolyte is going to come across. There is, well, that Nerubian tower already coming online, and Acolyte is trying to hide away from that warden. The warden could get some easy shadow strikes though, as the Death Knight is low on mana. All right, no Cloak of Shadows, low hit point ghoul. Is there going to see a surround? No, we are not. And even then, surrounding a warden seems to be a lesson in futility, as the warden hasn't shown any of its skills. Could be Shadow Strike or Fan of Knives. Ancient of War, or Blink for that matter. Ancient of War getting in position. Meanwhile, the warden, well, goes back to only realize, hey, wait a second, the Nerubian tower is already up. It is going to cause a bit of slow damage right there. The ghoul is going to be able to get in some extra damage onto those units, perhaps try and get us around, but no, unable to do that exactly. The ghoul should have just been swiping away, getting damage once more. Meanwhile, the Death Knight nearby accidentally aggroing this army of archers. Death Coil aggroing the creep as the units are now making their way out. All right, ghouls could try and take down this Wisp right here. Wisp are absorbing quite a bit of damage. Ancient of War taking some damage as well. And that Death Coil, that's 75 points of damage all of a sudden aggroing the creeps, and that Ancient of War just simply taking a beating here. Good use once more. Death Knight now going to turn back around and engage with the help of 2 ghouls, and the damage will start to add back up. Death Knight now also on the board with Unholy Aura as the ghouls are trying to retreat, but a quick blink finishes things off right there. All right, early action around the board. Syde sitting at 31 supply. Yange sitting at, what, 26 right now. We are teching the tier 2 already done, but I don't see any Ancients of Lore. We also see a large number of archers currently out on the field. And with the number of Moonwells out, he can easily transition into production buildings. Back down across, Death Knight, Ring of Protection +3, Dust of Appearance. The Death Knight wants to clear out more creep camps. Meanwhile, we're looking at the Necropolis and not yet taking the tier 2, meaning that the Death Knight will be by his lonesome self for a little while longer. All right, Wand of Illusion now coming back out. Skeletal Minion's going to pop on up to try and clear out the remainder of those creep camps. Ghoul may retreat back, perhaps try to harvest a bit of lumber once more as the Death Knight sits at level 2. Wand of Illusion, Death Knight, where is he going to travel off to next? Warden going to get to level 3 off of a relatively easy creep camp with the help of an Ancient of War, suffering terrible damage. Back off to the north here, Death Knight now going after this 5-3-3 creep camp as well. It should give the Death Knight level 3. Level 2 Death Coil is absolutely important in this matchup, as well that little bit of extra damage and a little bit of extra heal. Oh, Ghoul getting taken down, a little bit of micro mismanagement there. Losing a unit to creeps is never something you want to do. Meanwhile, back across here, Death Knight Illusion just hanging around by the Ogre Magi, simply waiting as we are looking at the Warden going after that Death Knight. Death Knight now down to 524 hit points, going to be dropping quickly. We are getting up a Necropolis here. Nerubian Tower and also a Spirit Tower will get added in. There is a Shadow Strike as well. Death Knight does have armor, but is he going to really be able to battle it out against this Warden? Uses a Dust of Appearance, but is a little bit premature. Meanwhile, the Death Knight still running around in circles. The benefit of being on Blight and having Unholy Aura cannot be understated at this point, as it was able to regenerate a large amount of hit points. Also, that additional Ring of Protection offering some additional bit of help, as we're going to take a look at the Death Knight now. Perhaps try and, well, it looks like I thought he would have perhaps tried to go back to Blight, but instead still staying around close by to those ghouls, even though there's no additional items to pick up. All right. A bunch of range units, archers, dryads, troll berserkers, forest troll, shadow priest, all in the center. Warden is full on mana with a robe of magi, and that is an important thing to note. Normally, the Warden and other mana, well, non-intelligence mana-based heroes, Shadow Hunter, Mountain King, a Warden, all of those heroes, if you never click on the unit, you may misjudge the amount of mana that is left on a hero based upon that bar. Right now you can tell, wow, that's, that's a good amount of mana, but perhaps right down into, well, like this range right there, you would think, okay, there, it's going to be a little bit of time before Fan of Knives, it's going to be a little bit of time before, say, a Shadow Strike, and then all of a sudden it comes in and just does terrible damage across the board. All right, Acolyte trying to get away. It looks as though it is going to end up getting taken down. Necropolis will end up, well, let's see what's going to be happening here as the ghouls are just dishing so much damage, but now being forced to retreat as the remaining piercing damage units are showing up to the party. This is not good for Syde. Syde needs to come back and, well, help keep these units alive. Shadow Strike could cause some major problems. There's a Death Coil followed by a Scroll of Town Portal. Is an archer ending up going to get lost here? Yes, it does get taken down, given level 4 to that Death Knight, who also now has a Sobi Mask. Lich may be getting that Sobi Mask, or perhaps stay on that Death Knight for additional Death Coils and heals as we get a Sacrificial Pit down. Maybe perhaps we will be going into Frostworms, or just want to be able to keep track of what your opponent is up to. That solo Warden strategy, that Warden already at level 4.5, going to get very close to level 5 here, and then engagements against the opponent, well, will just be that much better. Getting to level 5 first is a big deal, not only because of that level 5 ability, either level 3 Shadow Strike, level 3 Fan of Knives, level 3 Death Coil, But on top of that, when you're engaging against your opponent, you're able to get, you're forcing an engagement where, well, you normally cannot gain any more experience from creeping, and if you can gain experience at the same level as your opponent for a little bit of time, you're actually denying a little bit of creep time from your opponent as well. All right, there's oh wow, all of a sudden Potion of Healing now being used, Death Knight now being forced to back up, Frost Nova was right there to try and get some additional damage, Shadow Strike is there, 225 damage over time. Death Knight is still standing in position. The Warden, however, doesn't want to venture in too deep, knowing that the Death Knight and Lich could perhaps turn things around. Archer, Dryads, Forest Troll, Berserkers shifting their way back down to the south. The Warden is now at level 5 and is looking for opportunities to take out his opponent's units. He does not want to give his opponent time to freely creep with that Death Knight to get to level 5 or perhaps even get that Lich to level 3. If that Lich does end up getting to level 3, things will go from bad to worse as the hero nuking potential goes up tremendously. And just, I guess, to spite me and everything I say, the Warden now clearing out this creep camp here, even though it cannot gain any experience. All right, perhaps just wanting to pick up those powerful items. That is another reason to why you would normally creep if you don't feel comfortable trying to push into your opponent's base as of yet. Both sides are sitting on expansions, you can tell right there. However, this one has been mining for a bit while longer, 5 minutes longer approximately, as the Dryads will, well, is it going to aggro the Overlord and then try and pull away? That is the big question there. No, it's actually going to fight on the ramp with the help of that healing ward. The Warden, however, just a little bit too far, and now the Shade spotting all of this. This could be good. Death Knight, Death Coil, does it steal it? Yes, it does. Death Knight steals the experience with the Death Coil as the Robe or Helm of Valor now given. All right, bears are out onto the field. The Death Knight looks at those bears and says, you know what, I just want to continue to steal more experience by taking it away from his opponent. It is getting a little bit of gold. Warden now, well, Healing Ward is also down to try and heal up all of these units here. Drew to the Claw may try and get a rejuvenation off as well, as the Shade is nearby. Now, at this point and stage in the game, I gotta believe Yange knows that there is a Shade next to him, being able to get sight. If you didn't notice that earlier, Syde purposely walked up the ramp a little bit further than he needed to, and at the check, and it, well, allowed him to feint that he didn't have this. All right, big fan of Knives used right there. One Acolyte already down. Let's take a look. More Acolytes could get taken down. Shadow Strike could go down here as well. Are we going to see a second fan of Knives? All the Acolytes are gone. Scroll of Town Portal. Major damage loss right there as the Dryads do get picked up and leave. Necropolis retraining up some Acolytes. Nothing being trained up over here. There is not going to be a transition. Lich is out onto the field. We could be getting a Dark Ranger as well for, well, silence and those black arrows to feed the mana on that Lich. Coming back to the other side, a Shade. Well, Shade getting revealed right here. Is it going to be able to hide anywhere? No, it is not. Trying to get up onto the high ground, but the reveal more than enough to reveal up onto the high ground there. This is the time when Syde and Undead players usually get a little bit more traction. Normally not by having an expansion, but he is on equal footing in terms of bases, and that generally starts to go in favor. However, the Warden knows by going after these Acolytes, it can continually get closer and closer to level 6. All right, let's take a look at this right there. Warden is currently revealed. Oh, Shade, there's Dust of Appearance. Big fan of Knives. Turns up and tears up more Acolytes again. As you can take a look, that Acolyte actually hid inside the sacrificial pit in order to not get killed. Talk about a reversal right there. That low hit point Acolyte standing right here sees the fan of Knives coming and is like, goodbye, cruel world. Jumps inside and then says, hey, just kidding. Comes back out and, well, waited for that Warden to leave. Dryads, bears, all here ready to go. We could be looking for, at perhaps, well, ready for an engagement. The Warden still sitting at level 5, gonna drop down a healing ward as well, there to absorb quite a bit of damage. This Drew to the Claw still regenerating a large amount of mana. Big fan of Knives again as well. It's gonna be another Helm of Valor. +8, +8, +6 in terms of overall stat bonuses. Very, very crazy indeed. As we're now looking at perhaps the Warden trying to track and see where his opponent actually is. Let's take a look at that Destroyer versus the Warden. Both of them fighting their way through. Orb of Venom, however, going to cause some problems as that Orb of Venom does deal damage over time. Blink allows that Warden to get away, and trying to chase a high-level Warden is just absolutely so difficult, as we're going to see another Fan of Knives tear through so many units. Acolyte, or perhaps a Ghoul, could get taken down. It looks like that Ghoul will get taken out here. Let's take a look. Are we going to see another Fan of Knives? Yes, we are, but it doesn't finish off nearly that many units. There was a Silence also cast onto that Warden again. Ghouls are going to get taken down. Warden in that frontline spot, as the Warden desperately wants to get to level 6, going after perhaps some of those Destroyers and other units. No Staff of Preservation. That means bears are going to be falling rather fast, and that is a problem with a solo Warden strategy. Solo Warden often times ends up committing too much on items to, well, keep her alive, and what ends up happening is, well, the Warden is unable to keep its army alive. Warden pretty much using every single item slot, may be forced to replenish that through a town portal, sells a Helm of Valor. Oh, no, drops the Helm of Valor, and gonna use the Clarity Potion. Doesn't even really need it, as it's just taking up an item slot now. All right, dropping that Avatar of Vengeance, and now using that Clarity Potion to follow up to stay all topped off on mana. All right, Bear's going to be here, ready to go. There's the Roar. Abomination, a lot of heal. They're going to see some, well, Devour magic there. Fan of Knives coming across the Warden, now going to be forced to back away, losing a little bit of mana from that Clarity Potion, as you see the Warden may try to re-pressure on in. Low hit point Crypt Fiend, able to back away at 2-1 upgrades, and now healed back up for 400 hit points. Sitting on 3 bases, Syde is going to be able to easily transition some Acolytes from here as soon as that gold mine is mined out. Meanwhile, this Tree of Life gets destroyed, not cancelled. And with that said, well, we could have Yange now in trouble. Let's take a look back across over here as Dryad now poking away. Fan of Knives coming through. Anti-magic shell on the Warden, though, offering a bit of protection as the Warden wants to perhaps get some damage through, but unable to get healed and stay alive. There's one Druid of the Claw, perhaps one higher on mana, should back up and then get a rejuvenate onto that Warden right there. Hasn't done that as of yet. Well, turns back into a bear, and well, that's just not how that's going to work. Warden now in serious trouble, has 245 hit points. Let's take a look. Druid of the Claw is back in bear form. Both of those Druids, there goes one. Another one could get taken down as well. And as those bears fall, Death Knight, is it going to go to scroll in Town Portal? Yes, both sides scrolling of Town Portal to minimize the losses, as a last second Frost Nova melts away that Druid of the Claw there. All right, only one Acolyte mining away. This Acolyte has diminishing returns, quickly cancels it, knowing that, hey, you know what? Mining, having one additional unit doesn't make sense for mining if I'm going to end up almost dropping my overall production by 50% from 7 down to 4. Roar now being used here. All right, more Spirit of Vengeance is getting added in. Crypt Fiends are all here as well. Banshee's going to get in position. Bear's going to try and engage. Slow Tower in the back here. A bunch of low hit point bears, and Dryad's going to engage it once more, as the Druid of the Claw is at 3-2 upgrades, but falling. Yange is in trouble, and it really could be the lack of, well, no, Yange actually able to push back Syde here. You're going to be taking a look at more units getting finished off one at a time. There goes Syde losing one Abomination, as the Spirit of Vengeance, the effect of all of that piercing damage cannot be ignored. Death Knight getting very close to level 5. You see Cyclone now being used up there, as we may see, yes, there, Death of a Bear. And as you cannot bear it all of a sudden, well, the Death Knight, oh, I thought the Death Knight would have got to level 5. He's actually a little bit too far. Death Knight now finally at level 5, and those Rings of Protection offering plenty of help. Warden is a solo level hero, and it is just absolutely trying to tear through a large number of units. Continuing that fight, there goes another Crypt Fiend. Bear could get taken down. It gets taken down as well. Dryad's going straight after the Death Knight. Death Knight is going to force a scroll of Town Portal. We could see a Shadow Strike. Fan of Knives, as the Death Knight says, you know what, I want nothing to do with this location any longer. But, well, loses a bear, well, it takes out a bear in the process. Frostworm, Destroyer, 3-1 upgrades going up against 3-2 upgrades. Hunter's Hall not showing 3-3 upgrades as of yet as the chase continues. Druid of the Claw down to dead. Well, down to dead as the Death Knight followed with some Crypt Fiends and a Lich able to take out those fleeing units. If you are fleeing from your opponent, you are normally taking more damage since you're not attacking back and you're trying to find your position. But then again, being able to know when to flee to cut your losses absolutely important as a Helm of Valor. 8 total stats being left behind. Helm of Valor, strength and agility, very powerful items indeed, giving more armor, more hit points, making that Warden more difficult to kill. As we're going to take a look, well, Spirit of Vengeance is now dropping down some units. All right, Avatar of Vengeance now looking to back away down to -2 armor, going to be taking bonus damage. Warden is currently invisible, but not engaging right now. Not quite sure why. There, as the Warden now goes after this Necropolis. Syde deciding, you know what, this is not worth saving. Let me just get out of here, and I will take my buildings with me as he unsummons this, well, 10 o'clock base location. Alright, Spirit of Vengeance now chasing after some of these units. They do deal piercing damage, 17 to 21, and they are invulnerable. Cannot take damage whatsoever. Death Knight sitting at level 5. Let's see where they're all going to be going next. Still absorbing a large amount of damage here. You do not want to just be standing around taking damage needlessly, as the Warden is at level 7, getting, well, get a bit closer to level 8. Now, with that said, the army of Syde, a nice combination of Frostworms, Destroyers, Crypt Fiends, Banshees, and Abominations. Upgrades are a little bit lacking, but he's going up against a rather, well, two-punch army coming in from the Night Elf. Dryads and Bears are, however, a nasty two-punch army, excuse me, as Bears are effective against the Crypt Fiends and the Dryads are effective against the air units. And this is one of those situations where it's 4-player rock, paper, scissors. My Bears counter your Crypt Fiends counter my Dryads counter your Destroyers and your Frostworms, and your Destroyers and Frostworms counter my heavy armor Bears. We are still looking at 2 bases here, no base here as of yet. We are now trying to re-establish a base off to the north as, well, the Night Elf army is caught between 2 bases. Syde has the larger army by far. Meanwhile, Yange, if it's able to capitalize on this Avatar, should be able to crank out a large number of units and deal that damage. Dryads, oh, quickly going to finish off a handful of Acolytes. There goes another one there. One more Acolyte remaining. And the time, I don't know if it was well spent. Experience was gained, but in the same way, in the same shape. Well, let's take a look at this. Avatar Vengeance will most likely just get taken out due to timed life. Death Knight sitting at level 5. Lich sitting at 4. Dark Ranger sitting at 2. Silence, absolutely important in this matchup as well. Still a single shade keeping track of the army as we are trying to establish up this 3rd base again. Syde sitting at 77 over 100 here, ready to go. Well, big fan of knives amongst all of those units, trying to finish them off. Death Coil healing up a Banshee as the units are now looking to back up once more. All right. Avatar of Vengeance, Dryads here, ready to go. Units going to be heading up the ramp. There is a quick roar, and where are all of these units going to next? All right, Fan of Knives being brought in to try and finish down many of these Banshees and many of these other units. Death Knight, however, also getting some kills of his own as we are taking a look at the Spirit of Vengeance just popping on up and dealing massive, terrible damage. Syde down to 69 supply. Yange, meanwhile, could end up getting taken or losing a very precious bear. Let's take a look at him. Down to dead as we are looking at also the Frostworms trying to stay alive and well. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Lich getting healed back up as it was unable to absorb any more damage even after the Shadow Strike was cast there. Warden gets taken out. No use of the Scroll of Town Portal, surprisingly, as the Death Knight, well, finishes or gets some more Crypt Fiends lost. All right, there goes a bear. Still, Death Knight sitting at 5. Dryad's now trying to make its way back out. Some cold towers. Spirit of Vengeance is pretty much another hero at this stage, summoning a whole bunch of powerful units that simply cannot absorb or take any damage. Death Coil, a split second late right there, as it didn't register 500 hit or 600 hit points lost in an instant, or maybe just a handful of frames, as the Death Knight now makes its way to chase down the Spirit of Vengeance. Death Knight looking to finish it off, down to 5149, down to dead, as the Death Knight holds its experience level 553. Warden, perhaps if it had the Helm of Valor, would have had an additional 100 hit points and somehow stayed alive. We didn't see that happen. Now up to 1225 hit points, going to be ready to go to join back in on this fight. Meanwhile, Dryads are still prancing around as the Tree of Eternity looking to, entangle that gold mine there. Alright, the majority of the gold mines either have been mined or have a building that will be mining them momentarily, or has been mined out. Acolyte is trying to run away from that Warden. Warden going to be able to get in some huge damage here and finish off even more of these Acolytes again. However, the Warden, it cannot stick around for far too long. Dark Ranger, are we going to see perhaps a silence? There's a Frost Nova. Are we waiting for the silence? Yes, we are. Silence, no blink. Scroll of Town Portal being used as the silence shut out the Warden's original escape plan. Back down to the south, Warden looking to do a bit more scouting, running back around. This solo Warden play perhaps wishes that it had an increased intelligence as well. That would make that mana maintaining that much easier to use. Gonna go and quickly drop down all of those units, trying to get more mana and then pick all of that back up. That Robe of Magi, getting that 585 mana, and the Spirit of Vengeances should be incredibly important. Undead, hey, tuned in, thought it was a 2v2. Nope. But Tree of Eternity now fighting back here. 2,000 hit points, 7 armor. Ancient of War joined in on the fight. As you can take a look, the Shade is just giving so much valuable information on when to attack and when to retreat. Death Knight still sitting at level 6, level 3 Unholy Aura, very fast movement speed, in addition to 150% natural regeneration all the time if you are next to that Death Knight. Dark Ranger sitting at level 3 now. Warden now looking to hold on and head. Alright, needed to make sure my kids were not fighting. Alright, they sound okay. Entangled Goldmine. Alright, Abomination, Death Knight, Lich, level 6, level 5, level 3. Dark Ranger almost at level 4. Meanwhile, the Warden is at level 8. Solo Warden, as this Shade may have been the MVP throughout this match. I don't know exactly what Syde was thinking. He must have known where the army was, and he still walked up the ramp into an unfavorable spot. And because of that, he is losing this battle right now. Warden using a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. More Shades could get taken down. Are we going to see another Fan of Knives? No, we are not right there, as it does have Anti-Magic Shell being used once more. There goes an Abomination. 51 supply compared to 59. Syde forced to retreat with his tail between his legs, even though he has a larger overall supply. Many of those could be the additional workers. The additional workers that he hired in order to keep this economy going. Death Knight sitting at level 6. Big Fan of Knives coming across multiple units again. Let's take a look. Abominations are all going to be here, ready to go. Obsidian statues now shifting back off to the north. Abomination trying to head back. Death Knight gets Shadow Strike once again. That seems like a very weak Shadow Strike. Perhaps they should have just used Fan of Knives instead, as that Shadow Strike, well, it fell a bit short. Spirit of Vengeance is continuing to finish off more units. As the Avatar of Vengeance is still walking around. Alright, we are taking a look over here at what I'll call the 3 o'clock position, trying to hold off a relatively difficult base to hold right now, as it is far away from anything that, Yange currently can get from. Dryad's not going to be trying to just push through. Is Crota going to react to Reforged model leaks? I thought I had. Anyways, Abomination's now continuing to engage. Frostworm now trying to head back at Death Knight. continuing to make their way back as a big fan of knives comes across once more. Big silence once again as the Warden once again in position, blinks out of a tough spot and is now hiding off over here. Meanwhile, the units are now looking to back up again. Warden gonna perhaps stay in this back location, perhaps try and snipe down a Frostworm unit or two. As you can see, the Ancient of Protectors now coming in. All right, Warden now looking to back up. Yeah, some of the models were leaked, but until I actually see how they look in game with the proper size comparison, it's really difficult to tell. All right, our Avatar of Vengeance continuing to put that pressure in. Abominations are all right here. It's going to try and back off. Meanwhile, we're looking at what was a Tree of Life to try and take down some of those buildings, but not really having that much luck. Interested in mostly proper online interface and better spectator options. Yeah, that is true. I am really looking for better perhaps some overlay that says what abilities and skills those heroes are using. Something more, almost more in the line of in the line of League of Legends, because well, the original massive online battle arena did come from a WarCraft 3. Arya, please go upstairs. Original WarCraft 3 custom map. All right, Warden now coming across inside here. Big fan of Nine's gonna go ahead and well, just shadow meld, continuing to battle it out right now. Let's take a look. A lot of damage, trying to back up once more. Lich trying to reveal units. You can take a look. More damage from that. Well, Lich trying to focus down units and give it negative armor. Low hit point onto the bear. Bear's gonna get taken down. Death Knight stays alive. Not quite sure what it did to do exactly that, but it is able to stay alive as the Warden now may be in trouble. Warden gonna go ahead and shadow meld, tries to blink away, gets to level 9 somehow as the Spirit of Vengeances were able to finish off that Lich. All right. Units are now making their way back off to the north here. Yeah, I'm sure they created quite a good one as well. I've seen it. I like it a lot. I just don't want to try and program my own. All right, let's take a look. All the trees of life have been taken out right now. Meanwhile, back off to the, no mining here, no mining here. All of the trees have been taken out, which means that, well, Yange's army, what you see is what you're going to get. Warden going to dive on in here, try to finish off some units, perhaps finishing off an Acolyte. There goes one, there goes another. Could try and blink and go after another as well. Units are now heading back home. Thank you for those kind words. But yeah, no, the Back to WarCraft guys are really, really good casters as well. I have listened to them while at work and to just try to get caught up on the European scene. Warden, plenty of items. Is the one-man army going to be enough? That Warden, Avatar of Vengeance, such a powerful, powerful ultimate ability. Meanwhile, the Death Knight is at level 6, but did not go for the ultimate ability. Really don't think Animate Dead is really that great of an ability overall, as we see a quick Death Coil, then followed by a Shadow Strike. All right, Shadow Strike going up against Death Coil. Big fan of knives right there as the units are now backing off. All right, Ghouls are saying, wow, I just did not like that. Are we going to see a fan of knives again? That is the big question there. Finishing off one Ghoul as you're going to take a look. Avatar of Vengeance now being brought into play. The Graveyard could come back to haunt. As you can know, the Avatar of Vengeance just uses skeletons, and the Graveyard off over here has plenty to be used right now. And let's take a look. Lich now back out onto the field as well. Dryads going after that. Let's take a look. Is that Lich going to end up getting taken down? Avatar Vengeance being forced back. Bears are in play, trying to fight their way through. It's going to get taken out by the Frostworm. Frostworm now down to 45, 8 hit points. It gets taken out. There it goes. Warden still sitting at level 9, trying to fight its way through again. Big fan of knives to finish off some more units. Death Knight could end up getting taken down. Warden has Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, but low on mana. Trying to, well, get a little bit more hit points as you see a Shadow Strike as that Warden just able to move around. Body blocked by another Abomination as the Dryad could get taken down here. Vengeance trying to fight its way through, trying to pull back right now. Dark Ranger continuing this fight. Where is that Warden? I do not know. Warden is, well, low on hit points and trying to run back all by herself. These Moonwells, are they full? No, they are not. They are completely bone dry right now, as this Warden really does not have that many options to try and heal back up. Avatar of Vengeance trying to hold back here. Let's take a look at that. Avatar of Vengeance down to 121 hit points, trying to go after some units. It gets silenced, having an army of invincible units, but on time life is turning out to be very deadly as all of a sudden Syde looks like he may be able to turn things back around. Tree of Life is, well, not even entangling the gold mine as Syde ends up victorious. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me see. Do I get the ending menu? Alright, looks like Syde just wanted to completely destroy his opponent's base. Nope. And it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get the loading menu anyways for the final score. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Doing my exit twice. Hope to see you guys on BattleNet.